Hey, like 2 people watching. Welcome back to Building the BSGI. Here we will be moving Malcolm 5 miles outside of where I originally placed it. A lot has happened since the last video, so I'll probably catch you up over the course of this video when the video gets more boring. But right now, I'm actually, placing all the baseboards and measuring the whole thing. Here I'm just using mile-long trains to measure how many miles this whole baseboard section is, which is about 5. I intended that. Okay, now I'm done with the measurements. Now I'm trying to fix Malcolm by moving it over, and this proved to be quite a hassle since I had no idea what I was doing. Now, the actual thing I was planning to do, which was moving Malcolm, is easy enough. The hard part for me was actually trying to remove Malcolm, in which I tried several things that didn't work, including undoing the whole thing, which kind of made that artifacting in the water there. Eventually, I just decided to paste a bunch of baseboards that were blank, fix that weird deviation, and then go through the painstaking process of removing a ton of splines that were just completely unaccounted for in this entire move. And of course, I saw this weird terrain thing, I don't know what it is, and now I'm deleting the track. Now I'm trying to replace all the PBR textures, which I absolutely hate, with first grazed grass and then khaki grass, which fits a lot better. Now I am, just looking around the city, didn't really notice anything at first, and this is where I realized that lined roads are just so much cooler than the narrow roads I was using, so I ended up, making more of those. So you can see me fixing the road junction there, and now I'm rebuilding the track that was kind of lost in the whole move. There was a footage cut back there, and there's also an audio cut here. Basically, I've decided to film this whole thing in like 10-minute increments so that it would be easier to input into the video editor. Here I extended the Malcolm Canal, as you just saw. And one question I'm going to get a lot about this entire route is definitely, why is the grass tan? Well, first of all, this route is actually loosely based on City and Country USA. I'm pretty sure my last video also stated this. But I also discovered that this grass actually closely resembles needle grass, which is actually really common in the region that this is meant to represent, Colorado. So here I was in the middle of plateauing the whole thing because I forgot that this was a canal. And around here I actually realized that and started Control-Zing the whole thing. Okay, now I'm putting down the riverbed paint, which is something I have been using for a bit. It changed quite a lot. So here I discovered the terrain disparities with this canal, and I think a canal would be a bit more straight, so I ended up fixing those. And then I went right back to painting. Since a lot of this is pretty boring, I'm going to instead delve into the lore of this canal. The Malcolm Canal was basically made in 1896 because of the dying Malcolm River, which used to feed the Malcolm Lake, as you saw earlier. This was actually before the BSGI's construction in 1901. Okay, as you can see, I'm now finally adding water, which is something that's kind of important for a canal to function, and it kind of looks weird when the water just cuts off. And now that I'm done with that, I begin work on the actual main line section, like, texturing, extending the roads, extending the tracks, fixing that weird ballast issue. Since a lot of this is pretty boring, I'm going to quickly get into the actual reason why Malcolm exists. It's because of a lake, and it's because of trout special to Malcolm, called Malcolm Trout, which is basically just rainbow trout but reflavored for tastiness. It also provides a perishable business to the otherwise pretty general goods-focused main line of the BSGI. I think one thing you should understand about my texturing pattern is that I just kind of scribble, and whenever my monkey brain notices a pattern, I immediately try to scrub it out. Right now I'm doing some more scribbling and covering up these weird lines that are really hard to explain, but do happen quite a lot in my series because I do not know what I'm doing most of the time. I also tried blotching out all the old texturing which I did, which just really hurts my current brain. Here I'm fixing up the main line because I discovered it was way too close together, and eventually I'll extend the main line throughout the entirety of the 5 miles that I extended this whole thing through. One thing you'll notice is that I only did 3 baseboards of actual texturing. I'll do the rest in a later cut, so you'll see it later, but I didn't feel like doing it when I was recording this actual thing. Here I'm removing some bushes on the track, and of course trying to fix the absolutely abysmal loading that is these pairs of track. I absolutely hate those pairs of track, I don't know why I ever used them, and I eventually ironed those kinks out in the next cut. Here I used more ballasting, which usually works on these tracks, but they still have the problem of not loading when they're clearly meant to be loaded, and that really annoyed me, which is why I replaced it. The next few seconds of this video are mostly just me trying to texture everything and realizing that the track is way too close together for this. I eventually fixed that. A lot of things happen in quick succession after this, such as me making the road, me finishing the tracks, and me discovering that, grass wouldn't usually die around a canal with water. It would probably actually grow, so this is an issue that I had to fix, like, a lot, which is what you'll see the next few seconds of footage doing. I start doing some adjustments to accommodate for this realization, and, it works about as well as you expected. I did employ the absolute sin that is just copy and pasting 2 textures, and of course I also wanted to fix that very gradually when I started retexturing everything. Huge update from the last video since nothing's really happening here. I actually completed the whole conversion from 10 meter to 5 meter paint. Okay, here is about the time where another footage cut happens. I have upgraded the track to something actually usable, and I've started placing mileposts down. I actually forget milepost 9 at a certain point, or I just deleted it. I don't know what happened, but I had to place it in post-production. So while I place mileposts, I might also mention the fact that I completed North Hills and downsized its operation heavily so it'll look completely different from the last video. I also gave it a new look and finished the transition from North Hills to the main line. So here you see me do a weird thing where I basically merge the layers of the route and session, because a lot of unnecessary stuff is saved in the session layer and that completely wrecks routes when you're going into Quick Drive. While I'm finishing up the mileposts, I might as well mention that a future Malcolm video is going to be the next video in this series when I actually lay out the rest of the city and all its urban area. The town's population is about 5,000, so you'll probably see it extend past the 3 baseboard wide margin that I have. The only part I have got done is the industrial Main Street, which I might actually remaster considering it still kind of looks bad. Okay, now that I'm done with the mileposts, we can hard cut to a day later where I actually gain the motivation to do the rest of the path. A lot of this is just scribbling grazed grass, terraining it a bit, and of course finishing up some details like bushes. This is also why it's at 10 times speed. I should also mention, if it isn't obvious right now, that this is not all one take. I actually spliced several takes together, since I cannot yap for more than 2 seconds without it sounding weird, and of course I also have a bunch of blemishes in the recording as well. I'd also like to take a moment to mention my new video schedule. You'll find shorts and videos posted on Tuesdays and Fridays respectively, each at 9 PM Mountain Standard Time, which is probably not the time that most of you guys use. I'd like to give a shout out to both Nick Ozarak and Approach Medium for their demonstration of route building skills that actually allowed me to advance my own. Those two have got some serious dedication and you gotta check them out. I'm pretty sure most people here have probably seen At the Rail Yard, and if you haven't, go watch it. It's good. Here I start working out kinks with the lake since I finished texturing, and then after this I should be starting on the hill work. And of course, Kansas does have very light hills, which doesn't really explain North Hills, but there are some places in Kansas that do have pretty interesting terrain. Kansas isn't completely flat, just most of Kansas is, but could also be the same said for Iowa, Indiana, even parts of Ohio. No, I've never even been to Kansas, I just happen to do a bit of research on the region, as I do with basically everything. Okay, I do a bit of work on the road, and also begin placing bushes everywhere, something that's very important to this region of Kansas. In just a moment, I'm going to be done, and we're going to get onto cinematics of this whole mainline section, which I absolutely adore. Here I go off on a tangent of trying to add grass splines. I'll probably add those in post-production sometime, but it is a hell of a lot of work to add all that grass. Right around now, we should be getting into cinematics, in which I am showing the plane splitter, the signature train of this line, being pulled by Amtrak 209 and 210 F40PHs, and I think it's set sometime around the 80s. Basically, for context, the signature train, the plane splitter, is a train that goes from dead grass in this route to Billings, Montana. Here we switch to a different shot. This one is called the Rule of Thirds, where we show mostly scenery, or mostly nothing, alongside the train, which takes up about a third of the screen. I will also mention that it was way too much of a hassle to get the flying camera to actually align with these shots. Up in just a second here, you'll find my favorite shot, and I like to use that shot, a POV shot. And of course, this is a lot easier on Thomas the Tank Engine characters than it is just regular trains. But if you just show like what the train would look like if it was like looking out the windows or something, it looks really cool from their perspective because they're so much taller than humans and you don't really see humans running 80 miles an hour. I might as well say all my usual stuff here since this shot is about 1 minute 30 seconds long, and say if you like the video, give it a like. I found that the videos I like most are the ones that I want to rewatch, and since there is a liked videos playlist, I'd recommend liking the videos you want to rewatch. I won't ask you to subscribe, but it would be nice if you did if you really care about this channel, which I know a few people do. Sound off in the comments if you think that anything interesting could have been done that I didn't do in this video. But for now, I'll see you next Tuesday. Enjoy the shot.